your mind. This week's makeup is Negan from The Walking Dead. I actually did this makeup for my friend Michelle and Angel, and Michelle really loves the actual actor Jeffery Dean Morgan, so she wanted me to do Negan's makeup. So if you guys want to see how I did this makeup of Negan, please keep watching. Before we get started on Negan's makeup, I'm going to show you really quick how I created Lucille, Negan's bat. Here's what I used. A silver phone cord, and it goes to an old phone. And this wire, which is pretty easy to bend. These are things I had laid around my house. But I'm going to take this wire and twist it around the phone cord, and the colors kind of match, so they look pretty good. But this is where it's going to actually look like barbed wire. I use wire cutters to cut the wire shorter, but I still left some wire sticking out so they look like barbed wire. I did these little twisty knots with the wires through the whole phone cord, and I was able to make 2 knots from 1 wire. After twisting the wires to create knots, my fingers started to hurt, so I used a needle nose pliers to help me bend the wire. I didn't have a baseball bat, but I had this softball bat, and I took my nifty cord that I created and wrapped it around this softball bat, and I spaced it out just so it looked like there was more wire. I also connected the end of the cord using one of those wires, and I created another knot to connect them. This was a fun, quick prop with stuff that I had laying around my house. I know it doesn't look like Lucille, but it is for my makeup. Now let's get started on Negan's makeup. I'm gonna put my hair up and take off my makeup. For Negan's base color, I use light olive from Graftobian, and it is a foundation. I placed this color all over my face and neck using my fingers. So for Negan's bushy brows, I started off using Anastasia's DIPBROW, but I didn't like the way his eyebrows was turning out with that DIPBROW, so I went ahead and started using my face paint, and I used Cameleon black with a thin brush and basically filled in the areas that I had already created. To get his mustache and beard, I used that same Cameleon black with a stippling sponge. To do this makeup, I referred to several photos of Negan and also to Jeffery Dean Morgan, and he has some gray hair in his beard, so I use Paradise's white for the gray on that stippling sponge. He also had some dark hairs that kind of went up his cheek, and I used that Cameleon black on a stippling sponge. For the lines and creases in his face, I use some brown eyeshadow. And remember, I use several photos to refer to. And if I saw that the lines were too harsh and dark that I tapped them out because it kind of blended it and made it look more natural, kind of giving a shadow look of how wrinkles would cast a shadow. I'm not going to go into every detail of where I placed his lines and his creases, but remember I used a reference photo, and it's always best to use a reference photo when doing any kind of makeup of someone, because you want to get their specific features. And I just want to correct myself. I used several reference photos of him, not just one photo. For the lines under his eyes, they're not as harsh, so I lightly and barely put the brush to my face to create those lines. So these lines are a little bit more pronounced, his dimples and his smile lines, so you don't have to be so delicate. You can actually, get in there and make those lines stand out a bit. His hairs extend to his neck area, so I use a stippling sponge and that Cameleon black. And to create his Adam's apple, I use brown eyeshadow, and then I took that same face color that I used to highlight his Adam's apple. To create bigger nostrils, I use that brown eyeshadow, and then I also use Cameleon black to make it look a little darker. And because I had that Cameleon black out, I took a thin brush and I created little hairs around his face. For Negan's nose, I'm going to use some of that brown eyeshadow for some shading. And for some highlights, I'm going to use Warm Peach from Graftobian. And for some highlights under his eyes, I'm going to take a thin brush and use that Warm Peach from Graftobian as well. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this makeup up with some more highlighting and some more shading. And I'm going to use some hairspray in my hair and kind of comb it back and get on my jacket and this red cloth. Hope you guys enjoyed this makeup like I did, and that you'll join me tonight in watching The Walking Dead. I know I am very excited and kind of nervous to see what Negan has in store for the group, but also what the group has in store for Negan. So happy they got back together, and we'll see what happens tonight. Thank you so much for watching my video on my channel, Only in Rhyme. And if you like this makeup of Negan from The Walking Dead, please hit the like button, subscribe, and don't forget to share this video if you like it. Thank you, and I will see you guys next time.